Hello, welcome to my podcast, Yorkshire Property Partners. In this podcast, we will be discussing the latest news and trends in the property market in the Yorkshire area. My name is Fiona Conway. I am your host, and I'm director of Fiona Conway&Associates Mortgage Brokers based in Harrogate. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Clare Coidan and Louise Hirst. Clare and Louise are directors of Prime Residential based in York. Hi, Clare and Louise.
Hi Fiona, good to see you.
And you, are you both well?
Yes,
Great,
thank you. Yes.
Good. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for inviting us. It's great to be able to share our thoughts and experiences and listen to what you've got to say as well. So thanks for asking us on. It's very exciting.
Absolute pleasure. So firstly, would you like to start off just by telling us a little bit about Prime Residential?
Okay, so we basically saw a bit of a gap in the market, actually. We both come from a corporate estate agency side. We've been in business together, well, about a year, haven't we? But we've actually been doing the business combined about 25 years. So we wanted to bring all our wealth of experience really forward into a different way of doing things, working more with the clients and, the buyers as well. So it's a very individual, bespoke service that we offer.
We sort of specialise, we come from the high-end corporate market, and we found that the majority of the business was being done in York at the sort of 500 to 1.5 million. So that's where we sort of set ourselves and set our stall. And so we specialise in that area of the market rather than trying to do everything. We don't take too much on. We take houses on that we want to sell and spend time with, so that each house gets the attention it deserves, and we get the pleasure from the job that we were looking for, which is why we went independent.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I mean, your website is fantastic. The attention to detail that you put into those photographs when you're marketing those properties, every single one of them looks absolutely gorgeous. You can see that you really put so much effort into it. So it looks absolutely great. The properties look amazing.
Thank you, Fiona. I think it's one of those things, it's making the property look as good as it can be, actually, and not putting hundreds and hundreds of photographs on, but only a very choice view, something that really sets them off really well.
Yeah, it's just a taster to encourage people to ask to view a property for real, rather than giving so much information, which I think, unfortunately, some agents just take hundreds of photographs and want to show as much as they possibly can. Whereas we want to show the very best of the property and then get people through the door and obviously speak to people as well. And that's the key. That's why we called ourselves Prime Residential, really, because each property, whether it's 400,000 or 2 million, has a primeness about it, whether it's a fabulous kitchen or bathroom, a brilliant garden or a location. Yeah. And that's what we sort of try and highlight in our marketing.
Yes, no, I can certainly see that you do that. So you mentioned there, Mark, the location. I mean, that sort of brings me on really nicely to my next question. So I think York is just really sort of grown in the last 5 years. Yeah. I think that it's a busy place. People are wanting to buy properties there. I know there's a really strong market in York right now. Would you say that there's any particular sort of buzz spots right now, and why you think they have turned into a buzz spot?
I think it's normal things, isn't it? Like schooling, really. Access to the railway station. We have such a fantastic railway service up from London, so we've had a lot of London buyers coming over the last year, haven't we? So it's just really things like that, isn't it?
I think that the main areas remain. York city centre itself remains incredibly popular, particularly with London buyers, and as Claire said, because of the accessibility both to London, to Edinburgh, wherever you want to be. So the city itself remains incredibly popular. But with COVID, things have changed, and some buyers are wanting a little bit more space, working from home. So they're then moving out to the sort of more accessible villages. Historically, Poppleton and Bishopthorpe have always been really popular, but any of the well-served villages, with some good amenities, interest. As long as they've got amenities, people don't want to be too rural or too cut off. And then the ever popular Bishy Road, which is the best of both worlds. You can walk into town, but you still, you know, got that village feel. Very, very popular with southern buyers coming up to the area.
And sometimes you get buyers that have actually been to university here, so they want to come back. You know, they've gone down south, they've brought a family up there, and then they want to come back here. And, you know, quite often they've kept in contact with friends. So a lot of it is people coming back as well. So it's one of those places. It's a very small city. It's a very friendly city. And I think people can settle well here as well. There's lots going on. There's lots of culture as well. So we've got the river, you know, it's just a very nice, lots of history, a very nice city to live in as well.
It's beautiful. I mean, the Minster's one of the most beautiful buildings that there is. And I've noticed that as well about London. You know, maybe people who have lived in York, been born and bred in York, then move down to London, to the big city, you know, to experience that. But then maybe they get to a point where, you know, they're building a family. Exactly. And the career might not be quite as important to them, and maybe now it's time to move up and be closer to, you know, to their parents.
To help them come up to have their children, but equally because of the accessibility and working from home now, it really is possible to have a career in London, commute down there a couple of days a week, and live up in York and take advantage of the lower house prices and the better schools. So it definitely works that way for buyers as well.
I mean, it's like 2 hours on the train directly from York to London. I mean, when you're in London, you can't get into London.
No, you can't.
Exactly. It probably takes an hour and a half.
Get to the outskirts of London.
We've got the moors and we've got the coast here as well. So there's lots of good places to you know, enjoy around here as well.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic place to be. So there'll be people listening to this now who, you know, who live in York and they're wanting to sell their property. What do you think is good advice for someone who's wanting to sell their home? What would make their property stand out?
Do it now is the best possible advice.
Yes.
The market is absolutely still overheated. Stock levels are still incredibly low. So anybody who puts a house on the market is going to realise the best possible price because there are still buyers out there waiting, multiple viewings and often multiple bids. Traditionally, people used to think, wait for the daffodils to come up, put it on in the spring. But all you're doing is waiting for all the competition. Why would you do that? So, you know, make your house look its best, best that it can within reason. Get your agent round, even if it's not quite ready, get your agent on board as soon as possible. They can tell you what to do, what not to do, and they can be talking to buyers.
And that's the thing really, is not waste any time. And, you know, you might be thinking, I've got to wait until I find a house. Don't, you know, just do it, you know, and basically something will probably come up anyway, you know, and just, it's a leap of faith, but it's you haven't lost anything. You might pay for photographs and an EPC, but actually, you know, if you're thinking about moving, you will anyway. So don't wait for a couple of months. Just try it now, dip your toe and see how it goes. And, you know, we can guarantee that you'll get a really good interest.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone follows your advice, there's going to be more properties for those sellers to choose from when they're buying their new home. So, you know, it's a win-win situation, isn't it? Put your house up for sale. Let's encourage everybody to do that.
At the moment, the problem we've got is the lack of stock leads to a market that becomes a little bit stagnant. And we've actually got a prime example of that. We've just launched a house at the 500 mark. Beautiful house. And we've launched it yesterday. We've got 9 viewings booked already, but probably 70% of those viewings are people who aren't yet on the market. This house has tempted them to come out and look, and now they're behind the ball because they know they're not going to get the house because a cash buyer will buy it. And so I think, as Claire said, just take that leap of faith. Just put your house on the market.
You will find something.
Otherwise, you'll miss out on the house that you want to buy.
Yeah, I've had a few clients who unfortunately have found the house of their dreams, but they've not been in a position to put an offer in. So unfortunately, they then lost it, and then, you know, they've then decided to take their house off the market because they've not got the house they wanted. So it's it's a
difficult one, but it's the only way. And I think if your mindset is, do you know what, I'm ready to move, then just do it. Actually.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to take a risk, don't you?
Yeah,
You do.
Yeah. So another question that I'm asked quite a bit by clients is, so I'm selling my home. Do I need to invest in new kitchens, new bathrooms, or should I just really be giving my house a lick of paint to make it look presentable? I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that.
That's a bit of a moot point, isn't it, really?
Your conflicting thoughts.
It depends on what's there already.
Yeah.
How good it is or how bad it is. The rule of thumb, which absolutely rings true, is kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. Yeah. Absolutely, they do. Yeah. So it needs to look as good as it can.
Yeah.
But it's a very individual choice.
Yeah, because some people would say, okay, I love the house, but I don't like the kitchen, so I'll take the kitchen out anyway, put a brand new kitchen in. I think what's always important is to present the house the best way you can, and we can certainly help with that. We've done staging on properties sometimes, and then we've got offers quite soon after that, actually. So we can certainly go around with fresh eyes and just say, just make sure that you clear the kitchen tops, just things like that. And basically, especially in this market, most things will sell anyway, actually.
Yeah, they will, unless it's something, and it would be on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So again, trust your agent, involve your agent as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
They will know who your market is. I think the key is who is going to be the buyer of your house and what's important to them.
Yeah.
And then your agent knows that, and then they can say to you, just a little tweak here or a tweak there, or if you need to rip it out, then they'll have that conversation. But it's very rare that we would advise to put a brand new kitchen in. Because as Claire said, it might be that you spend 20 grand on a kitchen, and the people that are looking at it don't like it. So
I think you might think it's the best thing ever, but everybody's taste is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think if it's clean and tidy, I think that's quite nice as well. And if you've got a dog, take the dog out, probably.
have a declutter.
Yes.
Yeah, but we don't recommend bread in the oven or
you don't
filter coffee anymore.
No, that's potatoes. Yeah.
No, just make the home look presentable.
Fresh flowers and a bowl of fruit on the kitchen table. Sounds a bit of a cliche, but it really does go a long way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It needs to be inviting, doesn't it? You need to make people feel like it's a beautiful, well looked after, loved home, I suppose.
Yeah, you do. Clean's important.
Look clean, smell clean. Those are 2 points I think that people sometimes overlook.
Yes.
And it is important. And to be warm enough.
Yes.
Don't turn your heating down.
No.
Wants to be warm.
Yes.
Inviting is the word, the buzzword.
Oh yeah, I like a warm house. I'm always cold. We always have arguments about it. The heating should be on. No, it shouldn't. It's too hot.
You want to walk in and feel comfortable.
You want to imagine yourself in the house, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the flip side of that, then there's a lot of people looking to buy. As we said, not too much stock out there. There's not many properties for sale. So I'm finding right now a lot of people are losing out on their dream home. There's a lot of potential buyers. There can be 25 viewings lined up over a day or two, and there can be 7 offers on a property. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So as a buyer, then, to avoid constant disappointment, what should buyers be doing then to put themselves in a really good position to be accepted, to have their offer accepted?
They need to have a buyer on the house. They need to be proceedable. They need their finances in place. So a good agent and a good financial advisor. Those are your 2 starting points. Yeah. But it's true. That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And if you can be clear about what you want, where you are at the moment, and give confidence to the agent that you're going to be the buyer.
Because they'll be speaking to the vendor and they'll be passing that on. So, they can say, we've spoken to them and, they're in a good position, they are proceedable, and this is our offer. That's obviously, it's
the most important thing. It's not all about the highest price, because often sales fall through for all sorts of reasons. So it's really important that we have confidence that the buyer is in funds and is motivated. And that goes a long way when there are multiple bids, for us to be confident in that purchaser, because we're putting our neck on the line with our client, telling them who we feel they should choose. And it's something we take really seriously. you can never be 100% sure, but you can do
You're doing your best as much as you can, every step of the way. But the more information that you have, and the more that you feel secure when you're talking to a buyer, then the better it is really for them.
And they know what they pay as well, don't they?
Yeah.
I suppose it's almost like a job interview, isn't it? It's doing your preparation, getting your, proof of funds, your proof of deposit, your solicitor's details, and also presenting yourself as well as a buyer as well, instead of that all being on the sellers and their home. You have to prove yourself as well.
Yeah.
Especially
and then
in
you
this
can
market.
be taken seriously, and then you will automatically jump ahead of people who aren't ready, for sure. And even those that are ready, if they don't give the confidence on the financial side, you're ahead of them as well. It just shows you that
they've done their homework. If they say they've got a mortgage in principle and you've seen that, then you know that they're serious buyers, without a doubt.
Yeah. So is there any particular trend that you think that a buyer's looking for when they're viewing a property now? Is it the adaptable property that could, multifunctional rooms, things like that? Is that what a buyer tends to look for now? Or is that sort of a stereotypical view, I suppose, since COVID?
I think it used to be, didn't it?
I think people like that, but it's been the same for a while now, and even more so than ever. It is the fabulous living kitchen, bifold doors out to a garden, modern kitchen area with a sofa and a telly, somewhere for the kids.
Living, isn't it?
It is. You can entertain and cook. It really is the big selling point. And if you think about, if you've got that right, people are forgiving of other areas.
Yeah.
And actually, Claire made a really good point. We're chatting about this before we came on, and modern buyers our age group used to want to add value to houses and do work.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to happen as much now.
No,
I think that sort of generation of sort of people doing up the homes, it seems as though that's lost a bit now. And for the new buyers, the younger generation, it's a case, doing up a home is a case of putting some paint on the walls.
It's
that's
not a
renovation. They would do it. That is the renovation to them in a way.
They don't have the time or the energy.
No,
they work
not really
hard,
interested as
and they're
much.
not so interested.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I'm noticing that as well. People used to like that project,
not now.
but now it's like, people have children, mums and dads are both working. When do you have time to do that?
And so
there is no time. And so if you can say to somebody, or they can go into a house and they say, I can just put my furniture in here. That's great, because they know that they'll change a few things, but at the end of the day, they don't want to be knocking down walls and things like that. No. The most they'll do is paint the walls a different colour, really.
The best favour as a seller you can do yourself is make the most of your living kitchen area. Make it the best it can be, because that will sell the house. Garden and outside space. Just please try and present it as though it's another room in the house, because it really is popular now. People love their outside space. So you're somewhere to sit.
Cut the lawn if you need to cut the lawn. Put a few planters out, make it look pretty.
Take the sofa out. Just make it look pretty.
I think there's been a lot of horrible things that have happened over the last couple of years, but one thing that I noticed, especially during the first lockdown, is when we were allowed to just go out and walk around our house, seeing families outside playing together. And I think in some respects it has brought that family element back to us. It's what is important here. And yes, earning a living is important, but renovating a house can be important. But it's also nice just to have some time to spend with your family and in your home in a nice, nice kitchen or family area, isn't it?
And people have got some money, haven't they?
I was just about to say that people have been spending money, spare money now on their home, and so all thinking about selling because the home isn't the space and the sanctuary that it was before when they were out in the office all day. So now they're around looking in the home and thinking, I'm not sure if I want to be here anymore. That's when they start to think about maybe I should sell it. But it is that thing about it becoming more of a place where it's an important family environment, and actually that it becomes more important, I think, really.
I think the old cliche of curb appeal still holds true,
as well.
more so than ever in the age of the internet, because what you'll find is buyers will view a property 3 or 4 times before they actually view through the door.
Yeah.
They'll look at it on Rightmove, they might do a Google Earth, they'll then do a drive-by and make all sorts of assumptions before they even get the chance to go inside.
Yeah.
So you've really got to make your house look great and smart,
Which is
from
why,
the outside as well.
which is what we try and, obviously that's what we do to make sure that we do get them through the doors, to present it perfectly.
Yeah, but I think, as you were saying, it's important for buyers to make sure that they're happy with their surrounding area before they actually view the property, I suppose, because they need to make sure that it is commutable. They do feel like it's a nice area, somewhere where they can settle. They're happy with the local school, things like that. They're all important things as well.
That they do, yeah. But again, speaking to a good agent and engaging with the agent before you make too many decisions, because we're familiar with what we're familiar with, but we don't know what we don't know. And there may well be other areas that work really well that an agent can talk you through. And often people will think they want something and then they end up buying something completely different. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's just trust. It sounds we were laughing about this, but trusting your agent actually and working with them.
Yeah. You're the experts, and I think that's really good advice. People can go in with blinkers on thinking this is what I want, but once they have a conversation with you, maybe they will be open to other things and think, actually, maybe I don't want that. Maybe that's really good advice. So I think, as I say to clients, speak to me as soon as you want to start buying, or as soon as you're putting your house up for sale and looking to buy something else. Talk to me as soon as possible so that you've got the right advice. You can afford that dream property. You're not going to be disappointed. And it's exactly the same with you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very happy to give our time. Yeah. Again, one of the reasons we did what we're doing now is because we enjoy that side of it. We're here for the client, but for the client, do a good job for the client, we've got to find them the right buyer. So you have to give your time to the buyers, and then buyers become clients. We're in the long term. Yeah. So it's all part of it.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think it's important in business, treat people the way you want to be treated. Exactly. It's what I have on my website, and it's what I hope that people feel that I do, because I've been doing mortgages for whole families, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, it's building up that reputation, isn't it? And then keeping those people long term. That's the plan.
And that's one of the best bits of the job, to be honest.
As the job satisfaction.
Yeah, definitely.
It is. I've done mortgages for people buying their first home, and now they've got 3 children. It's like, have I been doing that this long?
Time gone.
I feel like I've been a mortgage advisor for 100 years. It's like, I've seen all these generations appearing. I'm like, gosh, I'm feeling old.
It's like that. Yeah, it can be like that, definitely.
Well, I feel like we've just covered so much ground there. Is there anything else that you feel that you would like to discuss? Is there anything else that you would like to mention?
I think it is just to reiterate, really, just crack on. If you've even got an idea of selling, just try it. There'll never be
I don't think you'll regret it. I don't think you'll regret it, because this market is such a special time, isn't it? We've never seen it before.
And we won't ever be pressurized when you're choosing your agent. Choose an agent that you feel comfortable with. Do your homework. Yeah. Look, as you say, look at websites. Look at the type of house they're selling. What's their ethos? We're big believers in not pressurizing people. Yeah. We would never, sort of put a gun at someone's head and say you've got to sell because we found you a buyer. If it's not right for them,
it's very fluid.
It's not right for them.
Yeah.
But equally, if you haven't got a buyer on your house at the moment, you're going to struggle to buy something.
You need to do something. You need to do that leap of faith.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. There's no point in putting pressure on people, because when you're under pressure, you're likely to make the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
And, that's not what you want either.
Situations change all the time for people, don't they?
So. Yeah, absolutely. So people will want to know more about Prime Residential today. Where should they go to find out more about you?
We've got a website is prime-resi.com. and all the information about us is on there.
How we set up and why we're set up and all those things that we've just been discussing today is a bit of a, sort of like a resume about us really as well. So
we're actually in the process of having a new website done, actually, which is quite exciting. But the one we've got has everything on there and all our properties, etc.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. And now
We've
on
been
a
on the
podcast
radio
as well, which is amazing.
You are.
Very exciting. We've been looking forward to this actually.
Yeah.
And very enjoyable actually. Thank you very much, Fiona.
I know. It's been fantastic actually. I've enjoyed doing every single episode, and this has been absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, dealing with both of you right from the start, you've been so enthusiastic and warm and friendly. And I would highly recommend that anyone who wants to sell their property should be speaking to you, because you've just you've been a joy. You've been a joy.
Oh, thank you. It's one thing I was going to add. It's so kind of you. But we like to think we are professional, we know the business, but equally we are really approachable. So if you want to pick up the phone and speak to us, to ask us anything, pop in and have a coffee. We're very happy to chat you through and give you the benefit of our knowledge. And, whether it's one of our houses or not, we're happy to welcome people to the area. So we're happy to talk.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. Like I say, it really has been fantastic. And I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know how busy everyone is right now. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on. Thank you.
Pleasure. Congratulations and good luck.
Yes. Thank you. Speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.